Talking about your rights being taken away. So in France, there is a little French seaside town called Les Sables d'Olonne. Les Sables d'Olonne is probably more accurate. And the mayor, in all of his infinite wisdom, in France has decided that you cannot wear swimsuits or be shirtless in the town because of hygiene, and basically it's not proper. What in the freaking hell is he talking about? It's a seaside town. What hygiene problem? What are you talking about? What in the blue hell are you even talking about? It's a seaside town. I have a swimsuit that looks like a mini dress. You would never even know it's a swimsuit. So I can't wear that if I'm in Le Sable d'Olonne. I can't wear that because he said I can't. How would you like a punch in the nose, Mayor? I am sick and damn tired. I told you this shit was going around the world. I told you. Once one country starts acting stupid, the other countries start acting stupid. And before you know it, everybody says you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't wear that, you can't that. Next, you're not going to be able to eat in public because you're going to show spinach in your teeth, possibly, and that's offensive. You can't drink your coffee in public because you'll have to use the restroom, and people just don't feel comfortable with that. I mean, if we're going to go stupid, let's not have a stopping point. Let's go all the way stupid. What in the hell is so offensive about people having freedom? Why is that so god dang repulsive? And you want to move out of the US? Well, you're going to end up moving to another country that acts just as stupid. All right, let me calm down. It was so goddamn stupid. I read it more than once because I couldn't believe what I was reading the first two times. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. I just cannot believe how I just don't understand what the fuck is happening. I don't. But anyway, so I just watched a video where women are being shamed for, like people have told them on more than one occasion, you got to have kids, you're selfish, you're selfish. You should have kids. What is so selfish about being responsible? We are responsible for our own selves. We Until the government bosses us around some more and forces us to have kids at gunpoint, because that's probably next. Anyway, we, for now, have the right to make a decision whether we want children or not. It's our choice. And y'all know about the book, What Men Don't Want Women to Know. You know that men are hungry for other ass besides you. You know that the divorce rate is very high because women get tired of the bullshit. Okay? So chances of you having a child and raising that child alone is very, very, very high. Because when your husband decides he wants to stick it in his secretary or whoever, you're going to be raising those kids by your damn self. So unless you are financially in a position to raise your kids yourself, just in case your relationship falls flat and burns to the ground, you better be financially able to raise those children alone, because there's a high probability that you will be raising them alone. Some of us never wanted to be in a situation where we have to raise children by ourselves. And we have to lose the word selfish, because people have kids for selfish reasons. They have kids because they want to have children. They have kids because they need a mini me. They have children to be their personal slaves. And you don't think that's selfish? You sit in an arm's length from the remote and you make your kid get the remote and hand it to you. or pour you a glass of soda or get you this or get you that. And you don't think that's selfish? I had to cut the fucking grass, and our backyard was bigger than a goddamn football field. Okay, not as big as a football field, but it was freaking huge, and it was way too big for a kid, and I was a kid, and I had to do it all by myself because Queen Bitch wasn't gonna do it. So they got to sit in the house and have fried chicken and corn on the cob and everything else and drink sweet tea and all that. And I'm standing outside in the summer, sweating like a damn dog, getting bit by mosquitoes and everything else until the yard was completed. And I was a kid. I had no business cutting that giant yard by myself. And quite a bit of the yard is a hill. You know how much fun that is? Using a lawnmower on a hill? A long ass hill. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And I wasn't allowed to go in the house until I finished the grass. I shouldn't have been cutting the damn grass anyway. Bitch, this is your yard, not mine. Okay? Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about how parents want to have their kids, they want to live vicariously through their kids. You might have always wanted to go to law school, but you didn't for whatever reason. So now you're trying to push your kid to do that. You're trying to get your kid to do the things that you missed out on. You don't think that's selfish? Why you throwing those words around? I don't want to hear that shit no more. Well, nobody messes with me no more because I'm not playing with y'all. Okay, nobody calls me that. Thank God. But that is very insulting. Why do you have to insult someone because they chose to be responsible? There's enough women out here that are irresponsible and popping kids out like goddamn Pop Tarts. You don't got to worry about us having a freaking, we're running out of people. And truth be told, the people that are out here shouldn't even be out here because they're not good people. And you want to make more, and y'all can't even raise the kids you got, and you want more? You can't even teach your sons to control their dicks. You should be telling them to control their fucking hormones when they're little so that they do not drop something in someone's drink because they feel entitled. She's not going to tell me no. You don't teach your fucking sons to have self control, and you think you have a right to have kids. You don't even know how to raise the ones you got. You don't even know how to raise the ones you got. And this is how they raise daughters, especially when I was growing up. You better not come up in here pregnant. You think that's the proper way to talk to somebody about the birds and the bees and to talk to them about their monthly and what to do for their monthly? You think that's the proper way to do it? Intimidating somebody? Being abusive to them? Verbally or physically? And how many of y'all never wanted kids, but you did it because stupid ass society, which is comprised of a bunch of dummies, they told you to have kids and put pressure on you, and you're listening to dummies, so then you had kids, and then you never wanted the ones you got. You wanted it. You knew it was a permanent commitment, and you spread and got pregnant any goddamn way. I think that you should be allowed to get sterilized if that's what you want to do, provided you're not going to change your mind down the line. You better be very sure this is what you want. Men should be able to have vasectomies. Women should be able to be sterilized also. Because some of us don't need children to be alive. We're already alive. We don't need a child to have a job. Their job is to make me feel like I've done what I'm supposed to do, or their job is to be my personal slave, or their job is I need somebody to brag on when they do really well. I'm gonna take the props, even though my kid did it, I didn't. But I'm gonna take the props for what they did. Some people have no goddamn patience for kids. How many people were going there? How many people have eliminated their children because they didn't want them? Hmm. Nobody wants to talk about that. That's something that everyone's like, shh, don't talk about reality. Come on, we don't want to do that. We don't want to face reality. We want to live in this fantasy world where everybody's supposed to fall for the Disney movie, run off, get married, have kids, and well, yeah, my husband can't be faithful, but still, I should keep him because that's what they do in Disney. Give me a break. I think people are horrible. I think that we have enough horrible people in the world. The last thing we need is to add more horrible people because people don't know how to raise their kids. They just know how to have them, which doesn't require any brain power. Our The world is going in a direction where all your freedoms are being taken away. United States, prime example. France, prime example. Saudi Arabia, prime example. It's 200 goddamn degrees in the fucking shade, and you have to wear a damn burqa from the head to the floor, your head to your ankles, while men can dress in Western style, t-shirt and jeans. He don't have to be dressed all the way from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. A lot of them wear Americanized clothing, but the women can't. They been lost their freedom a long time ago if they ever even had it, which they probably didn't ever have it because that's their culture. 200 degrees in the goddamn shade, you got to wear a black burqa. What kind of shit is that? Anyway, there's nothing wrong with not having children, and the direction the world is going in, it doesn't look good now. Do you honestly think if you were to have kids now, it's going to look better? The world sucks now. It does. Okay? I'm not saying there's no joy in the world, but I am saying that people are not the quality that they used to be. They're just not. Everybody's about me, 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 me. How you gonna raise kids? You can't stop looking in the mirror for 5 minutes. You can't stop chasing these men that don't want you no way, but they're gonna pretend they want you because they're desperate to stick something. Desperate. No self-control, no discipline. So he's gonna be your knight in shining armor for now, till he gets what he wants. People have drastically changed, and I don't want to hear jack shit about, oh, narcissism is thrown around, used too often. Let me educate you real quick. There is a verse that says in the Bible, people will be lovers of selves. I done told you that, and I done told you that. The word narcissism wasn't in the English language back then, but that's what it means, lovers of selves. How many people in your personal life, I'm on a roll, how many people in your personal life will drop everything if you were in a crisis? I'll wait. And I don't mean talk. You ever need me, let me know. I don't mean talk, I mean actions, where something happened to you and they were there. How many? How many people? I remember back in the day, I'm interrupting my own self, but back in the day, I didn't have a car, and for a while, and people said routinely, if you ever need anything, let me know. If I'm going to the store, I'll come pick you up because it's not a big deal because I'm going anyway. All of that was bullshit and triple layers of bullshit because I'm super independent. When I did on the rare occasion that I asked them for a ride, let me do the conversation for you. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? I'm good. Are you going to the store anytime soon? Oh yeah, I was gonna go over there and grab such and such. Why, what's up? Do you mind if I ride with you? Yeah, yeah, I could do that. Do you hear that silence? That silence means I told you I would, but I really don't want to. I stopped asking. Okay. I stopped asking. I went without many times because I'm not going to ask you for shit. I had to get rides to work every day because I didn't have a car. Thankfully, I got rides, but there's a caveat to that. One of the persons I used to get a ride from all the time, he had a crush on me. So yes, he'll take me wherever the hell if I got to go up the mountain, he'll drive me up the mountain. All right? But ain't nobody else trying to do it. People will tell you what they want you to hear, but they're not really going to do it. I miss Gail. I'm going to try really hard not to get emotional, but I miss the hell out of her. Too late. I'm emotional. I miss the hell out of her because we were so genuine. We had each other's back through thick and thin. There was no selfishness on either end. There was never dead silence if I needed something from her, and she was married with 3 kids. You know, if you try to be if you're single and you don't have any kids and you try to befriend a married woman, you know, a lot of times what she'll say is, "Well, I'm married and have kids. I really don't have time." Well, Gail made time for me because she loved me and because I loved her. Okay. Her husband wasn't going to get in the way of our friendship. Her kids were not going to get in the way of our friendship. In fact, I was included in the family. I got to watch her kids grow up. She didn't shove me to the side because she's got a husband and I don't. Or she had a husband. A lot of married women will do that. No, you go over there because you ain't married, so go sit your ass over there. They don't come out and say it that way, but they might as well. Thank God Gail didn't act that stupid. Thank God we would have missed out on something incredible if we acted like everybody else. Thank God we were different. Thank God we love from our heart. Thank God. She took me to the hospital when I was having an allergic reaction. She didn't hesitate. She didn't cop attitude. There was no silence on the phone. She's like, let's go. In fact, I was determined I wasn't going, and she's determined I am going to go. If she had to pick me up and sling me over her shoulder to take me to the hospital, she would have. She wasn't taking no for an answer. Get in the car. We're going. In other words, you going through a crisis right now, and it's not up for discussion. Get your behind in the car. Okay? Get your butt in the car. We had genuine love for each other. It was sincere. It was authentic. When she died, a part of me died too. I lost a part of my heart when she left. Yeah, married women get real weird if you're not married. Real weird. I don't want your fucking husband, and half the time you don't want him. Please. Unless he's Denzel Washington or Nicolas Cage, you ain't got shit to worry about. You don't even want your man. Why would I want him? We never had those issues. She was never insecure that way. Yeah. It's not that you think someone wants your husband, it's that you have an insecurity issue. It's more about you than it is about someone else. That's what that is. You're just insecure. Go to therapy for that, sweetie. Gail never acted that dumb. Never. Not once, you know. But yeah, women have every right to not have children or have children. It is, no one should be condemned for their choices unless they're making bad choices. You shouldn't have kids to abuse them. You shouldn't have children to be your personal slave. You shouldn't have children so that you can control them because you have an incessant need to dominate someone because you're toxic anyway. And part of being a narcissist or a toxic person is you have to dominate other people. Some people have children to dominate them, to threaten them because they get off on intimidating someone. There's a lot of bad reasons why people have children. So no, everybody shouldn't have them. We need to let that go and stop condemning women who don't have them. We're not running out of people. And a lot of people that are here, they shouldn't be here because they're not good people, like I said. Nobody wants to think about that. They want to go, la, 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 la. Well, I'm going to hit you with some reality. We have so many bad people in the world, and you want to add to it. Then we have an epidemic. I'm going there, and I don't care. We have an epidemic of men hating women, treating them horribly, using their physical strength as an advantage to intimidate or beat somebody up or psychologically beat them up. Make her feel terrible because you feel terrible about yourself and you've got unresolved issues with your mama. Okay? So you got a lot of men who hate women. They love to objectify them, but they have no respect for them. And then you have women who are looking at how men treat them and they're like, I'm not signing up for that. No, no, I'm not signing up for that. They hate me. Why would I want to be with someone who hates me? So you've got men hating women and objectifying them sexually because that's all they care about. Then you have women who realize that they're being objectified and hated and they don't want to be bothered either. And then you want to add more people to that. So we got more people who hate each other. Come on now. That don't make any sense. The people that are out here that are grown weren't raised right. So we want to have more kids that weren't raised right because people don't take parenting as seriously as they should. Ain't nobody trying to talk about that. Ain't nobody trying to talk about that. And I wasn't gonna, there's a lot of reasons why. I wasn't gonna raise kids by myself. There was no one I found worthy to have children with. I never had a desire to be a parent in the first place. I just never, that never hit me. That was never an urge. Never. For what? So I could be abandoned with my kid because this person only saw me as someone to reproduce with, someone to get their cookies off with, and I'll spend time with you. I hate it, but I'll spend time with you, but I'll emotionally withdraw from both of you. Why would I want a kid to go through that? That's not fair to the kid, you know? It's not fair to the kid. Adults can't get it together, so why you gonna bring kids into the mix? That's just kind of dumb. They're not coming into a solid foundation. They're coming into a situation where it's just not healthy. And that's not fair to the kid. And no kid wants to be in a single parent home. They don't want that. They want a mommy and a daddy. And I don't mean y'all living in separate houses because that's the norm nowadays because relationships don't last. Mm. What? I wish to God I still had Gail, and I don't. And it just hurts. It will always be a pain in my heart. Always. Because I know a bunch of people, but none of them are friendship material. Friendship is not complicated. It's just not. You got to care about somebody other than yourself. That's rule number one. You've got to nurture a friendship the way you would nurture a plant. You have to water it and give it nutrients, make sure the soil is decent, make sure it gets plenty of sun unless it's not supposed to have sun. Some plants require sun, some plants do not. It requires nurturing so that it could grow. And if you're not nurturing, you can't give of yourself to something, then you're not qualified to be someone's friend because all you care about is you. And I'm realizing that even though I know a bunch of people, they are acquaintances. That is all. They will never be my friend. Never. How many of them are breaking their neck to ask me how my surgery went? None of them, except for one. Now, if I see them in person, they'll ask. But everybody knew what day I was having it. Ain't nobody knocking my phone down, bringing my phone up ringing it constantly. Because they doing their life and, they don't really give a shit. When you think that you're on the path to finding a friendship, you just, is it really? Is it really? Because again, that person has to think outside their self. You have to care about something other than yourself. And if you can't, you're not friendship material. You're not relationship material. You're not parent material because your world revolves around you. I have a subscriber, I'm not going to say who it is, but that person is very adamant about checking on me. And I appreciate every bit of that. He knows who he is. I really appreciate that. I think the world of that because so many people don't care. So many people they're stuck in their zone. They're just whatever. I don't know. I think a lot, and that's not always the best thing. So I'm going to end on a positive note. Do not go to uh, Les Sables d'Olonne. I think it is d'Olonne. Don't go to that town. It's a seaside town in France. Don't go there because you can't wear your swimsuit because that's just a crime, apparently. Any place that is gonna smack the whip on you for doing things that you enjoy, I wouldn't bother going there. Don't vacation there. Just don't. It's just asinine. But if you have people that do care about you, please, please don't take them for granted because you never know when your time is up, when their time is up, and you don't want to be holding their hand on their deathbed, crying your eyes out because you feel bad because you weren't really there for them like you should have been, and now it's too late. They're dying. You don't want to be in that situation. So now your grieving is twice as hard because it's riddled with guilt. You don't want that. You just don't. If you have someone that you love, that you honor, that you cherish, always, always, always be there for them. You never know when your time is up. You never know when their time is up. And I have witnessed someone who was angry when her grandmother died because she was married with a kid and she's pissed off at her grandmother because when she would lived with her as a teenager and she was rebelling and coloring her hair all these different colors and grandma got mad at her and went off on her, she was holding grudges until she was grown. You too old for that. You got to let that go. So she stopped seeing her, she stopped having a relationship with her, even though she's grown now and she's not a rebellious idiot teenager. She's actually an adult married with a kid. And here her grandma's dying and she don't have no opportunity to say I'm sorry. And she took her anger out on me because I was there when her grandma was dying because I knew her grandma, or me and her grandma were close. So she started making snotty little comments to me and smart aleck remarks. And I knew everything that was about. It was her guilt. Don't get mad at me because you were a bitch towards your grandmother and now it's too late. Don't get mad at me. Look in the mirror. That's the reason why you're really mad because of your nasty behavior. You knew she wasn't going to live forever, dummy. Don't get mad at me. So I was there with my friend, and his ex-wife was there, and his daughter, bitch ass daughter, was there. And when his ex-wife got up to go make coffee, I flew out the room. I said, I'm coming with you because I want it out of there. I don't want to have to tell this woman off while her grandma's dying because I will snap on you. I know more about the situation than you think I know, and I could read you the riot act and make you feel 1,000 times worse than you already feel. So before I even go to that page, let me go ahead and hop out of this room and go help, go help this lady with making coffee. Because I'm about to make your life worse right now. You better get out of my face. You holding a grudge from when you were a teenager and you grown now? And now you gonna get mad because you feel guilty. So instead of feeling guilty, which is a real bad feeling, you're gonna turn that into anger and take that out on me. You'll get bitch slapped. We get kicked out of hospice. You should have been smacked a long time ago. I could make a list of people that could use a smack. Okay? A long list of people. Quit laughing, y'all. It's not funny. Anyway, y'all take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye.